Welcome to Parenting Successful Teens, the podcast that cuts through the overwhelm and stress of this phase and offers parents simple, practical, cognitive, science-based strategies for keeping their teens on track. Join Master Coach and real-life mom, Allie Irwin, to talk about real teens, real problems, and the skills it takes to raise successful adults.
Hello, everybody. I've been thinking this week specifically about ways to help the moms in my free Facebook community, No BS Mom Help. I was thinking that you all would specifically benefit from this topic as well. So I want to kick off by saying if you want content that's specifically written with you in mind, there are two ways you can get that. The first thing that you can do is you can leave a review of this podcast wherever you get your podcasts. The way that you can get help is to put your question in the review. And it's really easy. If you click on leave a review, it steps you right through the process. And then you just leave whatever you want help with, whatever question you have, in the review itself. And then I'll read those. And if that's a question that I think can help a lot of people, then I will do a podcast specifically about that question. Or maybe I'll do a Q&A podcast and answer a whole bunch of questions. We'll just see what happens. So that's the first way. And the second way is to join my free Facebook community, No BS Mom Help. So honestly, there's no cost, and I don't see why you wouldn't just do both, but there's two options, two ways. And like I said, it's an easy way to get support and help the podcast out. So when you join No BS Mom Help, one of the questions that I ask is, what do you wish was happening in your family right now? Like, what's happening and what do you wish was happening? And it's that question that sparked this week's podcast. I love this question because I get such a big variety of answers, and it's a window to where you all are at and what you need. So just take a second right now and answer that question for yourself. What do I wish was happening in my family? What do I wish was different? Maybe you'd answer, I wish we had better conversations, or they would tell me more, or they would talk to me about what's on their mind. I wish I didn't yell so much. I wish I was more patient. I wish they were more motivated. I wish that I didn't feel guilty all the time, or like I'm never doing enough. I wish they helped more and complained less. I get a huge variety of answers. And no matter what you're thinking about, what your answer to that question is, this week's podcast is going to help you get more of whatever that answer is right now. Okay, and we're going to do that by answering 4 simple questions. And 4 might seem like a lot, but don't worry, they're simple. And I'm going to play them out with a couple of different examples, and it's going to feel very doable. So first, I'm going to run through the questions, and then I'm going to run you through examples. So question 1 is, what do I want? Question 2 is, why do I want it? What will it mean to me to have it? Question 3, how will I feel once I get it? And question 4, what can I notice or do today that will give me that same feeling? How can I feel now? How I'll feel once I have it. So say your answer is, I just want them to be happy. That's a really common answer for moms, is to say, I don't care what it is they do in life. I just want them to be happy. So then you'd go to question 2. You'd ask yourself, why do I want them to be happy? And your brain might resist this one a little bit because the answer seems super obvious, and doesn't everyone want their kids to be happy? But just stay open and curious, and maybe acknowledge that your brain thinks you're asking a dumb question, and just ask again. Why do I want them to be happy? What would it mean to me if my daughter was happy? Now, if you stay with it, like I said, and just stay curious, your answer might be something like, well, if she was happy, it would mean that whatever problem she was previously unhappy about was resolved, wasn't happening anymore. So maybe her happiness would mean to me an absence of problems. And then ask yourself, well, why would her not having problems make me happy? Well, because I love her and I want my kids to be happy. Yes, but keep digging, because like that quick answer, while it's true, you're not going to get any new information from that quick answer. So just dig a little bit more. What would it mean? What would her not having problems? Like, how would that make me happy? Well, I could relax. It would mean that there was nothing more I needed to do to help her with whatever was going on. Like, I could just relax. I could stop thinking about it. It could mean I was doing a good job. Like, I was feeling really bad that she's having this problem. I should have prepared her better. I should have had her, gotten her a different teacher or tutor, or like warned her ahead of time that friend was trouble, or any of those things. And if she's happy, I could forget all that and just feel like I was doing a good job. Maybe it's hard for me to feel like a good mom when she's unhappy. I make her unhappiness mean I did something wrong, even if the problem is not related to me. And maybe it's just as simple as it's easier for me to be happy because it's hard for me to be around unhappy people. Like, this is true. Like, I just can't stand it when people around me aren't happy. Like, all of those answers actually yield a little bit more information. You could notice that it's not just your kids that you need to be happy around you, but you need everyone around you to be happy in order for you to feel relaxed and happy. That's good information to have. So once you have that piece of information, then you switch to your future self that has the happy daughter. And you ask yourself, how will I feel when I get what I want? Like, my daughter's happy. How will I feel then? And it might be, of course, you'll feel happy because we've already covered that. But maybe the next feeling is, again, you want to dig far enough with that question that you get a piece of information that feels a little bit new to you. And so maybe the answer is, I'll feel like I can relax. I'll feel content. I'll feel proud that I'm doing a good job. Cool. Now I want you to know that whatever that feeling state is, that is available to you right now before your daughter gets happy. Okay? Whatever you're believing that you don't have right now, you can start to look where you have some version of it and give yourself the after feeling, the feeling that you think you'll have in the future, right now in little micro doses. So say that you're making her unhappiness mean that you've done something wrong. So, and in the future, you'll feel happy because you will make that mean that you did something right. So just take a second right now and look for any place that you did something right. And practice feeling that contentment of doing a good job. We're starting to train your brain to notice the small places where you already have the feeling. And it's useful here to notice the small places that you think you did something good, because we tend to rush right past those. And because those happen, like, we take those for granted, like whatever it is, we make that become part of our baseline. And so they don't even get noticed anymore. You're like, well, every mom does that. And even if every mom does it, it's still, part of being a good mom. So like a really small example might be, I woke her up for school on time. She was still late because she did 20 things that made her late, but I did my part of the agreement. I woke her up on time. I did a good job. Can feel relaxed and content about that. Or I had oatmeal in the house for breakfast. Maybe it's her favorite, maybe it isn't, but I had food in the house available for her to eat before school. I did my part. Or, this is a hard one, I held my tongue and didn't say I told you so when she got in trouble for not doing her math homework, which I had reminded her about 100 times. So you could get 2 good moms for that. Like, I held my tongue and didn't say I told you so. And I didn't point out that I had reminded her 100 times. Okay. As you notice, then I want you to notice in your body that feeling of relaxed contentment. Okay. I want you to really feel it in your body, not just intellectually, but notice, like for me, that feeling's a little bit of warmth in my chest. And what we're going to do over time is we're going to just string together more and more of those relaxed, contented moments. So, you might start out doing it like once a day, and then with practice, you'll notice a couple things a day, and you'll start stringing that feeling of relaxed and contented together more and more. What you're doing is you're growing your belief that you're doing a good job and your ability to notice all the ways you're already doing a good job, independent of other people being happy. You're starting to separate out needing the other people around you to be happy in order for you to be happy. And your brain is going to argue, and that's totally fine. Just keep noticing the places where you're doing a good job, and it will get easier and easier to be happy, even if your child isn't. And as you do this and get more relaxed and contented, your brain will start to notice all the reasons why it's a good idea to be relaxed and contented, no matter how your child is feeling. And that noticing wasn't available to you when you were feeling bad. Those reasons were already there, but your brain couldn't show them to you because you were hooked into those other thoughts. You weren't scanning the horizon for evidence to believe that you could be happy even when they're not happy. And what you'll notice is your kids do not want you to solve all their problems. And it doesn't help you. It doesn't help either of you for you to solve their problems. So getting good at being happy while they're still having problems is a great skill that will really help them learn to solve their own problems. Okay, you'll get better at staying out of their business. It will get easier and easier. And you do not need to worry. When they actually need you, you'll know. That will feel completely different than getting involved in their problems and their unhappiness because you need them to be happy in order for you to be happy. Okay, so that's a practical application of how to apply those 4 questions. And this brings me to possibly the most important point of the podcast, which is you are not telling your kids anything about what you're doing. All of this is to create a positive feedback loop for you. This is where it's different from all of the behavioral advice that's like catch them doing something good. That's not what this is. It actually has the same effect as catching them doing something good, but it works way better with teenagers. What we're really doing here is we are growing your ability to feel however you want to feel about your kids more of the time. Ultimately, your kids will never learn to take care of themselves if you don't let them. If we don't start to take the training wheels off in the teen years, they won't learn to do it. But taking the training wheels off feels terrible. And it especially feels terrible in a culture that tells us that everything that happens in their kids' lives is their mom's responsibility. And so we have to first get you on solid footing so that you can do what you need to do so that they can have all the learnings that they need to have. So no matter what your examples are for this, if you just ask yourself what you want, ask yourself why you want it, like what does it mean to you that they're, going to do something different, that you're going to have something different, they're going to feel something different or take different actions. What does it mean to you? How will you feel once they're doing or feeling that thing that you want them to do or feel? And is there any place in your life, like where can you feel that right now? And then we're just going to string together more and more of that feeling. And because you are the leader in your household, they will entrain to your belief, your feelings. It won't look like that necessarily on the outside right away, but we're just going to grow your ability to lead the way with your feelings. So I hope this is helpful. It's been super helpful for me. This is how I manage all the discomfort of having the training wheels off. This is how I hold the vision of my kids' futures and our current relationship that I want to hold. And it's just so much better than the alternative of getting looped into their behavior, determining how you feel, their behavior, determining how you act. Those are all ways that you fall out of leadership in your family. And this is the way to get back in the leadership role and give you more of what you want right now. So I hope this was helpful. As always, you can reach out to me. I would love to have you join No BS Mom Help. And I will talk to you next week. Hey, if you enjoyed today's show and you want even more support and a shot of fresh inspiration in your email box each week, you have to get on my list. Sign up to receive my free guide on how to stop second-guessing yourself as a mom. There are so many decisions to make as a mom, and this guide will help you to make decisions and just move on. No more waking up 3 a.m. wondering if you made the wrong decision. This guide is so good. Even my non-mom clients are raving about it. So sign up today, and I will see you next week.